In this video, I'm going to do my best to just comment impartially and comment in a manner that is analytical, even though the subject matter is something that actually it pisses me off. But I don't think another pissed off video is what the doctor ordered. I think we need to look at some of these things that piss us off and see them in the light, see them in a more analytical light in order to try to understand what's really happening. Now, this is a video about a movie that I watched most of the other day. I couldn't get to the end of it because I was just too appalled by it. The movie is titled Ophelia, and it's a revisionist take on the Hamlet story. Now, I am very deeply invested in Hamlet as a character. I think Hamlet is a fantastic character. Shakespeare's greatest creation, and that's saying something because Shakespeare wrote a lot of great characters, but Hamlet easily tops them all. If you ever watch or read Hamlet, he's just a larger-than-life sort of figure. He comes to life. He has, all of these seeming contradictions in his character, but yet they all seem to fit together. Just like any complicated person has things about himself that are hard to reconcile, but yet they make sense when you consider them the full gestalt of who they are. Hamlet is just a fictional character, but he's so full body that he could be alive. He is an amazing character, and it's a great play too. But Hamlet, the character, absolutely rules that play. Rules it as far as overall amount of dialogue. I think I might have talked about this when I had my right-wing English teacher site. I might have talked about this on one of the videos that I recorded there a couple of years ago. But Hamlet is, he doesn't just have, it's not just a question of him talking and yakking and, more than anybody else, but it's the fact that what he says is so unmatched. He is just, his wit is unrivaled. He just run rings around everybody else in the play. There's his mind is always going. He's always expressing his ideas about this, that, or the other thing, and he's just a dynamo. He's someone who you can't keep your eyes off of. So it really was quite irritating. Again, I'm trying to be analytical here, but I think it is doing a grave disservice to Hamlet, this revisionist storyline that they cooked up, which props up the character of Ophelia at the expense of Hamlet. Of course, this is a feminist production, of course, and for that reason, all the female characters are either great or just sadly misunderstood. The kind of characters who were bad or terribly flawed or evil, like Queen Gertrude in Hamlet. In this play, she just gets one handy dandy excuse to be a whore after another, to be the whore that she is, to be the thought that she is. And Ophelia, who is a perfectly sympathetic character in Hamlet, a tragic character, and a complex character in her own right, just not someone who is, if we have to compare, is not someone who is even in the orbit of Hamlet as far as what makes a character compelling, what makes a character interesting. she's again a fine character in and of herself, and her tragedy is something that deserves to be paid attention to. The tragedy of her situation and what ultimately befalls her is a very sad thing in the play, which is a very sad. It's a very tragic play. It's the play with the highest body count of any, not just of any Shakespeare play, but of any play that I can think of. Just about everybody's dead by the end of Hamlet. But anyway, this movie makes Ophelia into the feminist heroine at the expense of Hamlet. Hamlet just becomes this sniveling, spoiled, lovesick, I don't know, just this dud of a character. And all the cool things that Hamlet does, they make Ophelia do them instead. And it's just, all in the name of we need to have more strong female characters. And here's the thing, though, about feminism as we find it today. You seldom find a kind of feminism where they say, we need to do a better job with female characters. Let's have more female characters, but let's not have them be, let's not create more good, strong female characters at the expense of good, strong male characters, right? Let's make everybody better, and you'd think that a truly inclusive mindset, of course that word has been subjected to all kinds of mischief, and the people who use it are usually not to be trusted, are usually disingenuous. But if you really wanted to be inclusive, you would say to yourself, okay, let's make Ophelia, let's center this play around Ophelia, but let's not do any kind of disrespect to Shakespeare's greatest character, Hamlet. Let's let Hamlet be just as impressive as he was before, but just less of a central character in the play. If they had done that, I would, even if they did it for ostensibly feminist reasons, I wouldn't have had a problem at all with it. But there is something about how they, again, just took the hammer to the character of Hamlet, took out all of what made him great, took out all of his wit and charm and his great mind and how he puzzles things over. Hamlet's the type of character, not to be too hyperbolic in my praise of Hamlet. He's the type of character where even his flaws are so interesting that they almost add to his greatness as a character. He does have many significant flaws, but those flaws don't take away from his character. They enrich his character, as is the case with the best kinds of heroes or villains. Heroes who have an Achilles heel, or villains who who are bad, but you can understand sometimes, or sympathize with them sometimes in one way or another. The most full-bodied characters have those kinds of qualities about themselves. But in this play, again, Hamlet is just Hamlet becomes a simp of Ophelia. He's always like chasing her around, saying, pledging his undying love for her. This doesn't happen in the play Hamlet. There's the love story between Ophelia and Hamlet, and that sort of goes awry, and it's sad when it does go awry for the reasons that it does. But you don't find Hamlet mooning over Ophelia all that much. It never happens in the actual play Hamlet. You don't hear him bemoaning Ophelia's apparent betrayal of him. Really, her she turned. She stopped wanting to be courted by him when she was commanded to by her father. She was obedient to her father, but she still loved him. But even when all of that drama is going on, Hamlet really doesn't fixate too closely on that. The only time when he really has an emotional outburst against Ophelia is when Laertes, when it becomes clear after he returns to Denmark that they're digging her grave, and Laertes says something that curses Hamlet's name, and then Hamlet jumps out and says, hey, Laertes, you chump, don't talk me down. I loved her more than you ever could. And then they have a fight over the grave, which again is a strange thing to have happen, and it may be a flaw, or it may signify a flaw on Hamlet's part, but still it's not. It's the only moment where he really goes on about his love for Ophelia. He never begs for her to love him, and begs for, goes around and you see him in this pitiful movie. Of course, not so coincidentally, in the feminist take on the Hamlet story, they make Hamlet himself into somebody who just wants to be with Ophelia because she's such a great gal. She's so wonderful. And so Hamlet is just chasing her around like a puppy dog and pledging his troth every second, which is not the Hamlet of the play at all by any stretch. Now, one other interesting thing about this movie Ophelia is it stars Daisy Ridley. Now, I've talked before about how I believe, I have no proof for this, but I believe that certain movie stars, certain actors in movies are utilized to communicate various, to try to get certain messages across to the viewer, for the purposes of social engineering. And the easiest example of this, I think I've talked about this before, Liam Neeson. Anytime there's a movie trying to be that's trying to arouse this cathartic this emotion in fathers to want to protect their daughters from harm, they always seem to bring in Liam Neeson in some version of his Taken character, where he's just some sad-eyed widower who seems harmless, but then when they take his daughter away and threaten her life, he swings into action, and you see that he was once a black ops spy who knows all of this, all these martial arts, and is just deadly, and he takes them all down. We see that with Liam Neeson, and Liam Neeson even became a widower in real life. He lost his wife, Natasha. What was her last name? Natasha something. She died in a skiing accident. So he actually became a widow in life. And this is one of those things that makes me wonder how much is scripted and how much is real, right? Because the sad-eyed widower becomes a sad-eyed widower in actual life. I don't know, one of those things. Now, Daisy Ridley is a pretty, proper British, clipped, upper-class sounding British girl, and so she you wouldn't think that she would be the favored weapon, as it were, to impart destructive feminist notions. But by destructive, I mean where they bring a woman on and say, and they make her just make a fool out of all of the male characters in order to deliver this castrating kind of message towards men and towards masculinity. But I'm finding it very peculiar that Daisy Ridley, again, who if you look at her, I mean, she's again a rather pretty, I think rather petite, delicate featured, British rose, that she would be brought on to suggest emasculation, and that is all that she did in the Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy. She comes on, and when Finn tries to hold her hand, she says, "Stop holding my hand!" And then she can do everything. She knows how to fix the Millennium Falcon. Han Solo is amazed at what a good pilot she is, what a good engineer she is. She's just, she's able to defeat Kylo Ren in their first lightsaber battle, even though Kylo Ren is really adept with the Force, and she's never picked up a lightsaber before. And that's just in the first movie. That's just in The Force Awakens. But we saw in the sequel trilogy how Daisy Ridley's character of Rey was meant to be become this feminist icon. Now I think it backfired, because she basically had no character. She basically had no struggle. And I think even the people who would have been inclined to like her, they sort of said, "Who is this girl? Why is she good at everything? It's boring." Luke Skywalker, he had to struggle and struggle and struggle and claw his way up before he became the kick-ass Jedi Knight that he eventually became in Return of the Jedi. But there was no struggle for Daisy Ridley's Rey. She was just, she had it made in the shade the whole time. She never had to struggle with anything. She again defeated this guy, this evil Sith Lord, the first time she ever faced him, and was good at everything. And she was a Mary Sue, as they say. That's the term that's been suggested. Just somebody who's just, she was the Kathleen Kennedy's Mary Sue. So now this same actress shows up in this other movie, which doesn't have nearly the same kind of. There's millions of people watched the Star Wars Disney sequel trilogy, but I don't. Significantly less people watched this movie Ophelia, and yet it's Daisy Ridley basically being brought on to do the same thing. Daisy Ridley being brought on in this revisionist rendering of Ophelia, where Ophelia is just this kick-ass girl who's great at everything and puts all the male characters, including Hamlet, in their place. Something is going on here with this actress being used in this way, and it might not have anything at all to do even with the actress herself. It may just be that she was chosen or selected to play this kind of role for whatever reason. Again, she's not, like a bull-dyke looking sort of a person. She's very feminine looking, but maybe that's part of the point. Maybe that's how they work. That's how they can work by stealth, work these emasculating notions in by stealth, by having a pretty, heterosexual seeming young British beauty become this emasculator. So anyhow, those are my thoughts on Ophelia. I just have to comment on it. and I'm interested to hear what y'all have to say. So let me know. My name's Andy Nowicki. Please check out my work at altrightnovelist.com. That's where you can find my fiction and my nonfiction as well. And please check out my latest written work, or my latest published novel, The Insurrectionist. It can be found at terrorhousepress.com. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all later.